BVI government sues former lawyer.
Parkwood Pond incinerator to reopen soon.
Cruise ship executives call on BVI to do better.
Amber Geiger gets 10 years for murder.
And your weekly arrest blotter. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.
Welcome, everybody. It is Friday, October 4th, 2019. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Javon Wilson. We're down to the end of
That's
another
right.
work week, of course, headed into the weekend. But big news for you before we head into the weekend.
Definitely. And of course, today was observed as World Teachers Day, particularly in the territory. So we want to take a time out to wish all of our teachers here in the BVI a great day. We hope you had a great day. And we thank you for your just amazing, amazing contributions.
You know what I learned recently? Dr. Letsum is responsible for Teachers Day worldwide.
Really?
I guess I heard that in a recent interview with a few of the teachers, because I know
And that's Dr. Quincy Letsum.
Quincy Letsum.
Interesting.
I know that we are also celebrating Teachers Week, a week of teachers' activities, of course, organized by the teachers of the territory.
Was there ever growing up a teacher that stood out to you that really made an impact in your life?
I always remember my primary school teacher, and I think because she was there at a molding or defining time in my life. I think yes.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Awesome. Topping our newscast today, according to an offshore alert report, the government of the Virgin Islands has filed an application at the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia by the Attorney General of the British Virgin Islands to take unearthings from Lester S. Hyman, a Washington, D.C. based lawyer who represented the government of the Virgin Islands in an attorney-client capacity from 1987 to July 30th, 2017. Lester S. Hyman is being sued by the government of the Virgin Islands for suspected fraud, at equity, breach of fiduciary care, and loyalty and intelligence. This, of course, we know, Jovan, stems from the failed airline venture to operate direct flights between the BVI and Miami with BVI Airways, a company for which Hyman is the director, and which resulted in the loss of $7.2 million to the territory of the Virgin Islands. Once the deal was signed, the airline later said they're going to have to lay off staff, which they did, claiming that it needed more money to fly. The funds have since not been recouped. The failed airline deal has been professed to be one of the biggest scandals of the territory, leaving many to play the blame game as to who is really responsible for such a significant loss. The report of the filing can be taken as a commitment that was made by both the current administration and the former administration to recoup the money that was invested into the failed airline. Premier Foy has publicly stated that the government of the Virgin Islands has a vested interest in retrieving that $7.2 million at all costs. And Jovan, I think this comes as really good news to the people of the territory because it is a significant loss to us, but the government stand in trying to figure out what exactly took place, I think, is warranted. So we do hope that something comes out of this positively.
We do. I think this is one of the biggest controversies we've seen in our political history. And I mean, it's not just a few coins. This is $7.2 million that can be attributed to aid in a lot of areas that we need help in when it comes to the territory. We've seen the previous premier dodge a number of questions in the House of Assembly in the past, up until right before the elections, where he admitted to it being a really bad deal. And of course, pledging
his support to ensure that we retrieve
Figure it
those
out, yeah.
funds. So I'm really glad to see the current government of the Virgin Islands doing what they have to do.
Absolutely.
Because $7.2 million can take us
It's no
a very,
joke.
very
Yeah.
long way. Moving right along, almost a year after the Parkwood Pond incinerator was incapacitated, due to a major fire, it is finally set to reopen soon. The government recently announced that repairs to the incinerator at Parkwood Pond are nearing completion and electricity has been restored to the facility. The press release stated that the government entered into an agreement with Skelton Electrics Limited to replace and reconnect all damaged ceiling lights, devices, electrical cables, and wiring between the incinerator panel and the building's electrical main panel as a result of damages caused by the fire last November. They also said, as part of the repairs, the CS4000 incinerator replacement control panel was purchased from Consultech Systems LLC and is being prepared for shipment to the territory in the few coming weeks. Now, last year, the incinerator was damaged, of course, after a major fire at the waste facility in Parkwood Pond, and no repairs were done up until recently to restore it. Matter of fact, ever since that major fire last November, there have been several reports of fire in the facility, and garbage has since been landfilled on a hill above the non-functional incinerator. While the territory is excited about the reopening, others are duly concerned that once operational, the smoke pollution will continue. In the past, there has been no scrubber, which of course is a device that is used to filter the toxic
Yes.
smoke emitted from the incinerator. Now, on this regard, we reached out to the Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, and he said, and I quote, "On the issue of the scrubber, Mr. Bob Lee, Managing Director, has conceded and has informed me that in spite of the failure of the subcontractor to perform, Consutech is financially responsible for completing the purchase agreement for the supply of the scrubber ordered since 2015 without additional cost to the BVI. It has been advised that the new scrubber has been ordered and that midway through the manufacturing process, a BVI team would be invited to inspect the unit at the factory prior to release of the next scheduled payment. Completion and delivery of the scrubber is scheduled between January and 2020. Now that's good news. In the meantime, he also said that the occasion of spontaneous combustion at the Parkwood Pond facility would be greatly reduced once the new control panel is installed and, of course, the incinerator recommissioned. So, Ron, overall, we see that this is really good news
progress.
for the people of the territory. Not only will the incinerator be recommissioned, but also the addition of a scrubber, something that we haven't had at the incinerator
Right, since
for the
2015.
duration of it, will drastically reduce the smoke pollution, especially in the western area. And I could tell you about multiple complaints that I've heard, residents really concerned about their safety in the Parkwood Pond or West End area. Still ahead, cruise ship executives calls on the BVI to do better, and Amber Geiger gets 10 years and a shocking revelation. These and more when 284 News returns.
Every 39 minutes, someone is killed by a drunk driver. Every minute, someone is injured by a drunk driver. 8 teenagers die every day in alcoholic-related car crashes. Motorcycle drivers comprise the highest percentage of drunk drivers in fatal crashes. The highest percentage of drunk drivers involved in a fatal crash are ages 18 to 24. Alcohol affects your reaction time, vision, tracking, concentration, comprehension, and coordination. Remember, when you drink and drive, you put the health and safety of yourself and others at risk. Select a designated driver, carpool, hang out in groups, don't leave your friends behind, and know your limit. 284 Media is concerned about the well-being of all and wishes everyone safety as we traverse the roads. Celebrate in style, but please don't drink and drive.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching 284 News. Now, on October 2nd, 2019, of course, last Wednesday, international cruise ship executives met and consulted with the government, industry partners, and the local public on the prospects of the cruise ship industry as well as the way forward. President of the Florida Caribbean Association, Cruise Association, Miss Michelle Page implored the territory to tell their story. She maintained that this is vital as we strive to define ourselves as a tourist destination and also the only way to capitalize on some $600,000 spending power of tourists every time a ship docks. Listen in.
In 2012, passengers spent $66.50. 15, $69.43. In 18, even after all you went through, $78.11, which is good. But when you consider a destination like St. Thomas, your sister, the cruise passengers spend almost $200. Crew, in 12, they spent $47, in 15, $45, in 18, $34. Crew are very simple. They have a short period of time. They want to eat and drink and buy stuff. We can do that, right? Remember, an average ship calling once produces $600,000 in revenue to the British Virgin Islands. 600,000. That one ship. The history has shown that even though the ship is in port for 8 hours, the passengers are only spending 8 hours off the ship. How can you showcase to them all the wonderful things that they can do when they're off the ship? Showcasing to them not only should they do everything that they can do in those 8 hours, but they couldn't do it all. They want to come back. They want to come back and stay for a long period in the hotels. Cruise passengers are looking at where they're going to go on their next vacation while they're on vacation. You need to put in their head that there's no better place than British Virgin Islands. The good news is that of an average ship, 97% of those passengers went ashore. That's really good because there are some destinations where it's a lot lower than that. So that means only 3% of the people chose to stay on the ship. As you're going to hear from this illustrious group of cruise executives, what's important is that you tell your story. No matter what you have to sell, what it is, the attractions, what it is, the history, the culture, you need to impart to every single person that you meet why they came here. What's special about the British Virgin Islands, about the people, the customs, even if they're buying something that you made. You put love into that.
That was industry executive Miss Michelle Page. Now, while she congratulated the bounce back effort, saying that, yes, we have bounced back much better post-Irma, she was not shy about the fact that the territory has not done a phenomenal job at fulfilling the expectations of guests. She said that as a territory, we have the ability to be a world-class demand destination that will only become a reality if we all were to work together for the ultimate good of the British Virgin Islands. Now, a lot of residents share this view and question whether we are doing enough to define the BVI's tourism product. Many are duly concerned about a fading culture, and this in itself, of course, threatens the identity of the local product. Other observers have also strongly suggested that we really need to outline the ultimate vision for this industry and put into place mechanisms, infrastructure, training, and of course other plans to support the objective, all of which makes us question if we are really doing enough right now. Do we even understand the product and the integral role it plays in economic development? Are enough monies allotted by the government for industry development? Do we have enough local involvement? Do we have the most passionate professionals spearheading the industry? Are we doing enough? Now, Ron, I know this is an ongoing conversation when it comes to our tourism product, but do you think as a territory, we are truly doing enough to define the product?
Well, a lot of those questions that you asked just now, Jovan, are really important because when you actually break it down like that, it really draws your attention to whether or not more could be done. And I think in this case, definitely more can be done. I think the professionals feedback was quite honest, and I'm happy that she was so candid in giving the premier and his government and the wider community some very honest advice and feedback. One of the things that she spoke about that I thought was really significant is why are we not charging per guest, like in the U.S. Virgin Islands, where we're losing. We're basically losing
Right.
money and not capitalizing on that. So I'm really proud of what came forth during the meeting, and I think there's a lot to think about and move forward.
That's one of the concerns I had with this meetup with the executives. I mean, because they get feedback directly from their guests.
Correct.
Quite a wealth of information. I was worried about persons not being as honest as they need to be. So I'm really glad to see that,
Yes.
they were pretty honest about it. The cruise ship industry, as we all know, has proven to be among the most resilient and one of the first to bounce back post-Irma. And just a few months ago, the Premier announced that after 4 months of negotiation and intense dialogue with the industry, of course, the BVI is now scheduled to see increased cruise ship calls for the 2019-2020 season. So good news overall. I know it was a spirited discussion,
Yes.
but one that was very informative and guiding as it relates to the direction of the cruise ship industry and where we need to be.
Most definitely. This past Tuesday, the family of Botham Jean thought they were finally going to see some justice after the police officer who killed their beloved son and brother was found guilty of murder. While the guilty verdict was certainly a welcoming rarity on Wednesday, what many are calling the killer's blue privilege finally shined through. For murdering an innocent man in his own apartment, former Dallas cop Amber Geiger was sentenced to just 10 years in prison. Amber received 10 years, while a man was sentenced to 99 years for kicking a cop, and another African-American man received a 45-year sentence for killing a police dog. Dallas District Attorney John Cruzo, whose job seemingly consists of helping killer cops escape any real accountability, said his office is pleased with the sentence. He said, "We're going to move on, and Botham's family is moving on." Some would say that Botham's family can never move on because a person was shot and killed, who killed and shot their son while eating a bowl of ice cream in his own home, is only going to serve a few years in jail, while their son is never coming back. No convictions, no mere sentences will ever change that. Now, that is perhaps also the sentiment, Jovan, of many families of African American men across the country who have lost their sons, brothers, and husbands to similar incidents. But in a very interesting turn of events, the brother of Botham took to the stand to present his victim's impact statement. And Jovan, his comments were nothing short, I think, of grace and mercy. Let's take a look.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do. And the best would be give your life to Christ. I'm not gonna say anything else. I think giving your life to Christ would be the best thing that both of them would want you to do. Again, I love you as a person. And I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
Now, Jovan, as you sat here and watched it with me, of course, that was quite difficult to watch. I think when I look at this story, if we get nothing else from it, is really that the ability to forgive. One of the things that I really liked about this young man is that he wasn't speaking, and he made it clear a few times in his statement. He
On
was not
behalf of his
speaking
family.
for his family, he wasn't speaking on behalf of anyone but himself. It shows me that he just really had to do this for himself. It wasn't about what they thought. A lot of persons are of the opinion when he went as far to say that, you know, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even want you to be in prison, was quite,
Taken aback.
yeah, it's quite shocking. But again, that shows, I think, perhaps the depth of his ability to let it go. Many are calling the sentence and actions by the court, however, blue privilege. In many ways, what took place in the court has perhaps never happened before. District Judge Tammy Kempt actually gave Geiger a hug before she was taken off to jail. And she also gave her a Bible and then hugged her again, saying, "You can have mine. I have 3 or 4 more at home." A court officer could also be seen fixing her hair while she awaited her sentence. Now, Jovan, in a day and age where everything seems to be about race and privilege, is this blue privilege or is this really just empathy and forgiveness?
I think it is. I think it is brute privilege. I think this case opened a lot of old wounds. When we look across the world, especially in America, at police brutality and what's happening, and recognizing that there has been little to no justice, even this case, this sentencing comes as a surprise to a lot of people because there's no justice for Black Americans in America and across the board. When we look at Eric Garner, the case of Eric Garner, a man who was not armed, was on the corner. He's known to have been selling cigarettes on the corner, but that day he was not selling cigarettes. As a matter of fact, he was leaning against the wall because at the time he had just broken up a fight with 2 other individuals, choked to death after saying over a dozen times, "I cannot breathe, I cannot breathe." And we can recount on so many other cases, you know?
What do you think this particular judgment, as we look at how things unfolded in the courtroom, what do you think it does for us at this very pivotal point when it comes to police brutality and the war on crime?
I think what it intends, the intention is to bring healing to the situation. I think love can only heal hate, and we have not seen, and I mean, these cases are even backed by what some would say is, you know, Trump's leadership. His leadership has evoked white
That division,
privilege in every degree. And a lot of white policemen feel as if they can get away with it because of the way he deals with it, or as a matter of fact, not deal with the situation. So yes, I feel like in that regard, maybe we won't get justice, but maybe if we are to exercise mercy, and I think no matter how much they kill us, you can't take this away from us. This is,
But your,
this is who
your
we
ability, someone's ability to let that go, something as heartbreaking as that, speaks a lot. So kudos to the young
are. It
man.
speaks a lot about who we are and what we represent as Black people. And again, they can never take that away from us.
Most definitely. Still ahead, China's largest airport is now open, and your weekly arrest blotter. We'll be right back, viewers, after a word from our sponsors. This is 284 News.
What you really running for, boss? You could have bust a hole in your head. But see with the competition, which means about to bust a hole in your pocket.
I could get my modem, please.
Anyhow, I got something huge to show you.
I gotta be sick in your head.
Hold on, string bean. Ain't a kind of party. Check this. That's LTE1 for just about everyone. LTE2 for you and your boo. And hold on. Bam! Rate so low, you feel like you're free. That's LTE3 for you and the whole family.
Save even more on your internet with new pricing from CCT. Get LTE 2 now for only $149. Get LTE 3 for the new low price of $189. All packages are unlimited, so there's no overage charge. You don't have to run into Chaz for savings. Just stop by our store and sign up today. Come on over to CCT. Life Unlimited.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch again? You say you were sick? What happened to over the rehearsal?
No,
actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take two Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey, I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Viewers, welcome back. This is 284 News. China's largest airport is now officially open. President Xi Jinping led the inauguration ceremony at Daxing International Airport's sprawling main terminal building just a few days ago. The picture is going to come up shortly on the screen. As you can see, massive structure. Wow. It comes just ahead of the 70th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China on October 1st. Officials hailed the $63 billion transport hub, which includes a network of railways as a new powerful source of national development. Daxton IATA code PKX is 30 miles south of Beijing and was designed by the late British Iraqi architect Zaha Hadid. Like most public infrastructure projects in China, Daxing is massive. Its main building is touted as the world's biggest freestanding terminal and equivalent to 97 football fields. It has 4 runways for commercial flights and has accommodation for 300 takeoffs and landings every single hour. Now, of course, that's according to airport officials. Its opening less than 5 years after construction began is expected to alleviate the pressure at Beijing Capital International Airport. The 737 MAX's most problematic system has a military predecessor that works better. Better Beijing's existing airport, which was built for the 2008 Olympics and is already running at a maximum capacity. It is notorious for delayed flights. Officials say Daxing will now be able to handle 100 million passengers a year by 2040, thereby eclipsing Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson's International, which is currently the world's busiest airport. Beijing Capital is the world's second busiest airport, according to Airports Council International. Saran, here we see again, technology
that is quite the structure.
Meets talent, meets innovation. And
I would surely be lost
when
in
you
that
think
airport.
about China, they really continue to spearhead in these regards.
Definitely. Our weekly arrest blotter, ladies and gentlemen, Alquimnis Rabsat, 41 of Purcell Estate, arrested and charged for aggravated burglary, armed with an offensive weapon, common assault, and criminal trespass. He was granted bail in the amount of $50,000. Leroy Fergus, 32 of East End, arrested and charged for 2 counts of theft. He was granted bail in the amount of $60,000. Kieran Fagan, 25 of Nottingham Estate, arrested and charged for theft. He was granted bail in the amount of $50,000. Sheldon McKenzie, 40 of Longlook, arrested and charged for theft. He was granted bail in the amount of $5,000. Randy Butler, 44 of Longlook, arrested and charged for inflicting grievously bodily harm and destroying property. He was remanded to Her Majesty's Prison. Trey Audain, 23, of North Sound, Virgin Gorda, arrested and charged for unlawful possession of a controlled drug. He was granted bail in the amount of $2,000. Addison Nisbet, 36 of Seacows Bay, arrested and charged for unlawful possession of a controlled drug with intent to supply to another, 2 counts of possession of a controlled drug and escaping lawful custody. He was granted bail in the amount of $5,000. Leon Forbes, 22 of the Valley, Virgin Gorda, arrested and charged for disorderly conduct and indecent language. He was granted bail in the amount of $2,000. Leonard Leando Fret, 60 of Old Plantation, arrested and charged for disorderly conduct in a public place, assault of police, indecent language, and resisting arrest. He was granted bail in the amount of $2,000. Tia Thomas, 22 of East End, arrested and charged for driving without driver's license, driving when not covered by policy of insurance, tinted windows, and failing to comply with a no entry sign. She was granted bail in the amount of $5,000. A busy week for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force as usual.
Yes. Viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. But before we go,
Yes.
King Garden Bay has been reopened, so I might be heading down to the beach. Are you gonna
No.
head out there on Sunday?
I'm gonna
No.
find another beach to go. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. That's just a little too
You don't
soon
trust-
for me.
you
No,
don't trust it?
I'll be at Smuggler School, Bruce Bay, somewhere else.
Well, viewers, yes, you can. You are allowed officially to
Yes,
head
to
back
go
out
back
to
to the
King
beach.
Garden Bay. Of course, be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media. Ron, I love you.
You gotta love me, right? Love you too. Happy Friday.
At 284 Media on Facebook, 284 BVI on Instagram, as well as Twitter. I'm Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. Be sure to join us live every Tuesday and Friday at 3 p.m. as we deliver honest and impartial news right here on 284 News. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.